Chris and I seem to agree that for Carson Wentz, it really is a boom or bust proposition for 2019, in large part based upon his ability to stay healthy. If he's healthy, he will be great. The Eagles will be great. He could be the MVP, and the Eagles could win their second Super Bowl in 3 years. If he gets injured, who the heck knows what happens, and how much will the Eagles be regretting all that money they have paid Wentz. So, he is the poster child for our boom or bust draft, and let's just agree, let's stipulate, he can't be picked. Right? He's the inspiration for it.
I'm with you. Yep.
No Carson Wentz.
Yep.
All right, because that's good, because you were going to win the coin toss and you would have taken him. So I like that. That's a win for me already. Go ahead, heads or tails. Go ahead. Legitimate, fair, even-handed coin toss. Let's see what you got.
Oh, gosh, I don't know where to go here. It's been heads for 2 days in a row. I don't know if she wants to go that way. I'm going to go heads again. I don't think she's going to actually think I'd pick heads for a third day in a row. Oh, darn it. All right, go ahead.
All right, well, you know what? And this is one of those days where there isn't a clear-cut obvious winner.
Whenever you win, you always say that. Get out of here.
I figured out the psychology of the rigged coin toss. I'm going to start with a team that right now we would assume is going to be in bust category because they haven't been to the playoffs in a very long time. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to me, are the ultimate boom or bust proposition for 2019. There are plenty of players, coaches, teams we could throw into this category. I think without question, the Bucs under Bruce Arians, this is either going to work, and it is going to work incredibly well, or it's just going to be same old Buccaneers, hello, 5-11, 4-12, and Jameis Winston's gone, and who knows how long Bruce Arians remains as the head coach. But if anybody can stir a team quickly and move a team from worst to first, it's Bruce Arians. And you know, I'm rooting for boom.
Yeah,
I'm
me
preparing
too.
for bust, but I don't see any in between. And after he got that job, somebody in the know said to me, this is either going to be spectacular for the Bucs or it's going to be a total disaster.
That seems to be the sentiment around the NFL whenever I've talked to people in the league, too, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think it's a good pick by you, Mike. I mean, yeah, I could see them, you know, somehow maybe being competitive, sneaking into the playoffs. Jameis Winston has a career year and throws 35 touchdowns and 4,800 yards. And we go, oh, my gosh. I could also see it going, whoa, this is an absolute disaster. Jameis Winston's thrown 22 interceptions. Bruce Arians is getting redder than the Buccaneers red on their jerseys. And, you know, things are horrible, and they're 4-12. I'm with you. I could see it going either way. I'm rooting for boom as well. I'd like to see it work. Did you want to say something? No, sorry, that was not your finger pointing.
No,
okay, I thought you were giving me
I'm happy. I should be doing this. You're well done. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're agreeing with me.
Well, yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not always a jerk and always disagree with you. When you make a good pick, at least I admit it from time to time. But
I never do.
I know you don't. Rodgers and Lafleur, Green Bay Packers, boom or bust. I don't care what you put up there, guys in the back room. Maybe Rodgers and Lafleur is what we want to put up there. But to me,
Rodgers and Lafleur.
Lafleur and Rodgers. That's our song yesterday. Nobody even knows what we're talking about. But either way, okay, I look at this and go, Aaron Rodgers, he could win the MVP this year. It could set up to where, they've improved that defense. Oh, it's Matt LaFleur in as the head coach. Nate Hackett is the offensive coordinator. They're going to formulate all these new things, and he's going to have these plays that he's never had in his career, and it's all going to be great. And, man, Rodgers throws 40 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and he's the MVP, and the Packers are one of the top seeds in the NFC playoffs. I could also see it going, week 4, there's problems in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like the offense. Or we start to hear about, LaFleur and Nate Hackett are talking about Aaron Rodgers is, not liking some of the plays or the game plans and things like that. And they're 7-9 and don't make the playoffs. So they're 6-10 or something like that. I think it will be more boom, but I certainly think there is a bust factor here because I think LaFleur is an unproven commodity as far as a head coach to this point. And, hey, we got to see Aaron Rodgers work with somebody else other than Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, now the thing, though, is, and I'm not doing this to be a jerk.
Yeah.
The challenge with all these picks.
Right.
Because really, you could make any proposition, any team, any coach, any player, and say there's boom or bust potential. The question is, how big is the middle ground?
Yeah.
Right? And with Rodgers and LaFleur, there's a middle ground there. I don't know how big it is, but there is a middle ground where it's like, well, okay, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible, and there are some signs there that for 2020 it can all move in the right direction. I don't think it's a huge middle ground, so I'm kind of agreeing with you that it is more boom or bust than it is, well, okay, so far so good.
Right.
I mention all that because my next pick is clear boom or bust. There is no middle ground. If it's not boom, it's going to be regarded as bust, and that's Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley's either going to be back to the guy that he was in 2017, or he's going to be a guy that has 500 rushing yards and doesn't have, much involvement in the offense. I mean, it's either going to be he is great or it's a bust. And because he set the bar so high a couple of years ago, he's got to either come close to or surpass that barrier, or it's going to be regarded as a bust. Because we're going to be watching every game every week. Is he playing as much as he has in the past? Is he producing the way he has in the past? Is he showing up on the injury report? How much is Darrell Henderson being used, the rookie third rounder out of Memphis? So I don't think there's much middle ground there. It's either going to be boom, and we're going to say, hey, Todd Gurley is still Todd Gurley, or bust, Todd Gurley is no longer Todd Gurley, and I do not see a middle ground.
Yeah, I don't know if I see a middle. I guess where, I don't know where the middle ground is there either. That's my question about that situation. I think that's, the good way to sum it up because, I don't know. I don't expect the boom to be as boomalicious as it's been in years past, okay?
Then it's bust.
Yeah.
Then it's bust. That's the thing.
Right.
If you're not, because most people aren't paying attention to it the way that we are and the way that people who watch this show are, where we're very conscious and cognizant of the issues with Todd Gurley's knee. If Todd Gurley has less than 1,000 rushing yards, people are going to say that's a horrible season.
Yes,
right? If he's not the top fantasy running back, because there's going to be people who have him penciled in number one.
Yeah, right.
Hey, we got to have Todd Gurley. No, man, no. And so if they're expecting 1,500 yards from scrimmage and 15 total touchdowns and they don't get it, it's going to be a bust. That's the concern. For most people, the bar is still high. For those of us who have been paying attention to this, the bar should be lower. The problem is for most people, it's going to be regarded as a bust if it doesn't meet that very high bar.
No, I agree. I think that's where I kind of felt with like Rodgers and Lafleur. Like they could be 9-7 and not get in the playoffs, and people are just going to go, oh, that's a bust. That's a bust. And, I'm with you there, Mike. You're right. I think that will be the overall perceived notion on Todd Gurley and definitely one of the most interesting stories of 2019. All right, I'm going to go, since you picked a player, I'm going to go with you on the a player pick here. Lamar Jackson, boom or bust, 2019. He's at the top of the list for me, Mike. I mean, yes, I could see, okay, the Baltimore Ravens, they've added more run plays and more run game design around Lamar Jackson, and he got better at the passing game and decision-making and, more accurate and big-time throws that way. And I go, if that happens, boom, the Baltimore Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. But I can easily sit here and go, I could certainly think of the other side of the coin and go, man, what we saw last year was a lot of inconsistencies in throwing the football. And gosh, it could be just a total disaster. And teams have caught on to what they're trying to do offensively in the run game. And then he, on top of that, is not developing as the pocket passer that we'd like. And it becomes total busville to where, I'd worry about RG3 sitting behind him. I mean, I really could see it going both ways to where Baltimore could win the division and be a top 3 seed in the AFC playoffs, or, they fall off the earth and the pass game just can't keep up with the times and what they need to do, and they're not in the playoffs at all.
And I agree with you completely on that, because the expectations will be there for Jackson to be the guy that he was at Louisville. And, I think he's going to have a hard time staying healthy, which puts him into that same bust category that Carson Wentz. I mean, basically, he's the AFC version of Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Where even though he doesn't have the track record of being injured, he's going to be exposed if he runs the ball. And I know that Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, said he's not going to run the ball 20 times a game. I mean, that's encouraging. You never expect a quarterback to do that. The question becomes, how much will he run? How much will he get hit? And will he get injured? And will that be RG3 time in Baltimore if Lamar Jackson can't continue? So I agree with you, both on how good is he going to be and how healthy is he going to be. There's real boom or bust potential for Lamar Jackson. All right, I'm going to stay in the division, but I'm taking a coach. And a year ago, if you had asked me to map out the 100 most likely coaching candidates for 2019, I wouldn't have had Freddie Kitchens on the list. Because I would be like, wait a minute, a guy who was offensive coordinator got demoted to running backs coach, or no, he was quarterbacks coach and got demoted to running backs coach, in Arizona. Then he's running backs coach with the Browns. And, if the Browns are good, Hugh Jackson will still be the coach. How did the dominoes fall that Freddie Kitchens ends up being the head coach anywhere when he's starting the year as running backs coach in Cleveland? I never would have had him on that list. And here he is as the head coach of the Browns. He's earned that opportunity. But with all the expectations, with all the pressure, with all the scrutiny, it's all going to be on him. And this team's either going to deliver a playoff spot or it's not. And if it doesn't, it's his fault. And if it does, he's not going to get any credit. They were supposed to.
Right.
He's in a no-win situation here.
Yes.
Freddie Kitchens, how does he, I always say coach of the year is the guy who most exceeds expectations. I don't know how you can exceed expectations if you're Freddie Kitchens. They're expecting you to win the division.
You're right.
So it's boom or bust, and the boom is presumed, and the bust is looming. And if they don't make it to the playoffs, he's going to be regarded as a failure.
Yeah, you're right. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for like the boom factor where guys are, everyone's expecting good things and a drastic turnaround. And I think if it's anything but that, people are going to go, oh, it's a bust. So I'm not mad at you here. I mean, none of these are bad picks, so I'm not going to fight hard. There's so many good ones to pick from here. That's the interesting thing. But the Browns is, come on, this is must-watch TV this year. Certainly be one of those teams on a Sunday I'm always going to keep my eye on because of the players, the personalities, the first-year head coach, all of those things. Who knows which way it goes? So I'm with you there, Mike. Not a bad pick. Now, this is where, I don't know where to go here. I thought about, Big Ben and the Steelers, right? How about the Bears kickers situation? I think about that, but I'm not picking kickers for a draft. The hell with that, okay? Eli Manning, Jason Garrett, Shanahan, Garoppolo. I'm thinking of them all, but I'm going to go one that is close to the heart of Mike Florio. Your purple little heart. Your purple little heart. And yes, I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. I think he fits the mold here. I don't like actually picking him because it just lets this narrative continue to feed here.
Then why did you pick him?
Well, because
you picked him.
It is the narrative, and that I can't avoid that. And as much as I want to try to change it and get people against it, perception is reality in the NFL. I learned that, and it's just it is. That's the way it is. And the perception of the Kirk Cousins is right now is, hey, you got paid a lot of money to come here and bring us to a Super Bowl and bring us to the playoffs. And in year one, we didn't do as good as we did with the year just before where we had you. So I look at this year to go the boom factor is they have to make the playoffs. The bust factor is if they don't make the playoffs, it's a bust. It's literally that. It's going to be, oh, we didn't make the playoffs. Why are we paying you $27 million a year? Gosh, we went to the Final Four with Case Keenum. What are we doing? And I'm not so sure if they don't have a great year and don't make the playoffs, that they might not think about, doing something with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback situation. We've talked about it. If the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play well and, the Vikings decided they were sick of Kirk Cousins, would they go there? Would Kirk Cousins end up in, the 49ers or the Rams with Sean McVay? There's so many possibilities there, but I think it's the ultimate boom or bust guy.
Chris Simms picked Kirk Cousins, not me, and Chris Simms is the one that is propagating today the notion of Kirk Cousins being traded to the 49ers.
Tattletale, you.
I've got I just want to make sure we know whose voice is whose. I've got the Bucs, Todd Gurley, Freddie Kitchens. Simms has Rodgers and Lafleur, Lamar Jackson, and Kirk Cousins. We'll be back with more PFT Live right after this.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.